So I think the biggest thing is the front end. So going through the application process, criminal background check, credit check, verifying the income. So when you do a good job at the front end, there's usually not a lot of issues during the tenancy.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another Workout Wednesday. Thank you for joining us for the second week of August. For this week we have another core services partner, our property management out of Shelby. Short, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Hey, it's great to have you on.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I want to roll straight into the questions. So last week we asked Eric the same question. I just wanted to tell a little bit about your background, how you got into property management, and then what does a typical day-to-day look like for you.
Okay, yeah. So my background story is that 20 years ago, I started with Prudential Network Realty in the realty side of things and was with them for a little over a year and got a job offer to work in property management with a book of business that was already there, which is really nice and not typical. So I've been doing property management for about 18 years and about 11 and a half years ago, I came and had a meeting with Christy Budnick, and she said, we're starting a property management division, and we would like you to run it for us.
Very nice.
Which I was so happy, because for me, it was coming back home.
Yes.
And so I've been here running the property management division. It was 11 years in June, and we're doing great. We started at zero. Right now we have about 270 properties that we have managed. We also do tenant placement. Yeah. As far as day-to-day goes, it's
whatever
always
the day throws at you.
Right. Yeah. It's just, what is that? Creating, or it's always chaos. So just trying to...
It's coordinating chaos.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of questions from agents about what a property would rent for, maintenance items, renewing leases, move-ins, move-outs. So it's different every day.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about how it felt like coming home whenever you talk with Christy, because I hear a lot about agents that have left and come back about how they as soon as they left, it's like they missed it because of the environment, and not only just our company as a whole, but in each of our offices, how they all have their own little family style, and even across offices, I see a ton of collaboration. So it just speaks volumes to what people feel whenever they are with us.
Yes. Yep.
I want to ask you, what are the biggest advantages of going through a property management company rather than self-managing a rental?
So I think the biggest thing is the front end. So going through the application process, criminal background check, credit check, verifying the income. So when you do a good job at the front end, there's usually not a lot of issues during the tenancy. So just making sure that you have the right people going into the properties. Nothing is ever guaranteed. However, it at least helps that way, so you know you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's at the beginning. We're tax deductible, so even though you're having to pay a management company, you're saving money because hopefully you won't have the issues because of the front end, but then also you get to use our services as a tax deduction as well. So move-outs are usually a lot easier that way when you have people of good quality standing.
Very nice. And so you talked a little bit about those services that you offer in the front end. So what services are you providing for, like, landlords, from anything like tenant screening to maintenance and things like that?
So we do the tenant screening with full management. Prior to the tenant moving in, we go in and take hundreds of pictures. And when I mean hundreds, like 300 to 500 pictures of the property. So that's our insurance policy of what the property looks like. And it helps every time. We just did a move out and the tenant, we had the pictures before, the tenants snuck an animal in. Scratched one of the doors, and we had before and after pictures.
Gotcha.
So we got to take the new door off of the security deposit, which was, a plus for the owner that saved them money. But then we always have that, the before and after pictures, which are huge.
Yes, a good fallback.
And then
insurance kind of. Yeah.
Right, that's what we say. And then any kind of maintenance issues, we deal with that with the tenant or with the tenants and the owners. I have an owner that has a brand new house. I'm going over the property to do the walkthrough with the 6-month inspection with the builder. So we're there to represent the owner of the property during the tenancy.
Nice. Okay. So are you working with agents during the buy and sell process? Say like if somebody has come in to town, they're on a relocation and they haven't found a house yet that they want to buy, so maybe they might reach out to y'all about getting a rental.
So the agents will reach out to us that way. More so they reach out to us as far as maybe if they're working with an investor, or right now if the agent has the property on the market for 9 months and it hasn't sold, they're pointing them to us to put it on as at the rental instead. Today I had to do comps for a property. If they sold it, they would be selling it at least $40,000 less than what they bought it for.
Oh, wow.
So the agent just said it would be better if you could rent it for them, and then they can wait a year or two before they put it on the market for sale.
Gotcha. That's very nice. So what are some common concerns that agents may have or come across whenever they're referring to property management, and how are you addressing those concerns?
Sure. So the main thing right now is obviously when an agent has to take the property off the market for sale, and then we put it for rent, they're losing that sale for at least a year.
Yeah.
So it's hard for the agents, and I totally understand that. But the positive thing is we make sure to give it back to the agent.
Okay.
So we've been successful. Many of our agents that have referred rentals to us have in the end gotten them back and then sold them. Okay. So we just hold on to them and take care of them, but then they get them back to sell. We don't compete with any of our agents, so we only do property management and rentals. We all have to have our real estate license in the state of Florida to be a property manager, but we can't compete with our sales agents.
Gotcha. So, and it probably also helps too because you understand a lot more about real estate. I mean, obviously with being in property management, I'm sure you know a ton about real estate, but just having that backed license probably also gives them a little bit of peace of mind.
Absolutely.
What are some of the biggest challenges that maybe a landlord is facing nowadays? It could be anything from bad tenants or things like that. How are you helping address those?
So the hardest thing that owners are seeing right now is that if their mortgage payment is, let's just say, $2,000 a month, the rent is probably right now $1,600 to $1,700. So there's that gap. And a lot of owners will say, well, we need to cover the mortgage. And the conversation we're having with our owners is right now the tenants are not paying your mortgage, they're helping you pay your mortgage. So $2,000 a month out of your pocket or $400 a month out of your pocket.
Absolutely.
And of course, again, that's tax deductible. But then the whole fact of they're at least helping them, it's not sitting vacant, but it's just having the landlords get the rental rates wrapped around, like to understand, because it's not what it used to be where they were pocketing money every month.
Yes.
So
absolutely. I mean, it's shifting it to like a glass half full conversation.
Absolutely.
I like that. How are you staying compliant with local landlord and tenant laws, and how are you protecting owners from liability?
Sure. So that's it's great, especially right now, because
Yes.
we use Heiss, Weiss, and Walk as our property management attorneys.
Okay.
They only do property management. They're the biggest property management law firm in the state of Florida. And we just passed a law. They just passed a law. We helped with it, which is kind of
Awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
But now we no longer have to post notices on the door, which in this day and age, just in June, we were literally walking up to a door, knocking on it, and if a tenant hadn't paid rent, we were handing them a notice to say, you need to pay rent in 3
Yeah.
days or we're going to start an eviction.
Wow.
And that's controversial.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, it's,
Sure, it can get
it's
heated.
yeah, and kind of gets scary. So we went to Tallahassee a couple times, and the apartment association helped with it too. And now we can actually email notices, and we no longer have to go knocking on doors.
Wow.
But as soon as we had that law in place, Heiss, Weiss, and Walk had all of the documents ready, because the tenants do have to sign a document that says they will accept an electronic notice.
Gotcha.
So they keep us up to date on everything. If there's any little thing that would change, or even if they have to tweak the lease, they do it with all of their leases, and it just starts going the next day. So it's nothing, they always keep us protected.
Now, for the final question, what advice would you give to a homeowner who's thinking about taking their current home and maybe turning it into a rental?
I mean, it would be this to sit down and talk with them. I always like to go and walk through the property with the owner. Some owners are, they're like, well, we're gonna add this, or we're gonna change this. A lot of times, if there's nothing wrong with it, you don't need to upgrade the property just to rent it out. So I like to walk through the house with them and just point those things out. But the big sit down would just be the rental rate, because right now we have a handful of properties still on the market from the summer, and the summer is our busiest time. So even though I recommended a rental rate, the owner still went above what we recommended, and it's still sitting on the market for rent.
Yeah.
So we've missed that window, and now it's going to be a little bit harder to rent. That's since school is starting next week, or in 2 weeks.
A few weeks.
Few weeks, yeah. So it's hard that, if they would truly just listen to our recommendations and put the pricing the right way right away, we wouldn't miss the window. And I just did one, we listed at $2,800.
Yeah.
My rental or my recommendation was 24 to 25. We're already down to 26. As soon as I brought it down to 26, we've had 2 showings, and that was since Friday.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's just talking to them and helping them understand, educating them.
Definitely. Do you see, so in the summer, are you seeing a lot of, let me rephrase it, are you seeing a lot of long-term rentals with your properties? Or are you seeing more like short-term, people maybe coming here for just like summertime? They're from up north and they're wanting to come to Florida for the summer to enjoy the weather. Which one are you seeing more of?
So we only do long-term.
Okay.
So the shortest term we do is a 7-month, and then that way
Gotcha.
we stay away
Okay.
from like the bed tax or the hotel tax.
Okay.
So all of our rentals are 12 months, which that's why it's the busiest in the summer, because more people are willing to move in the summer before the school starts and have that time to settle. So yeah, it's definitely the 12-month.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing the video today. I really
You're
enjoyed
welcome.
it.
Thank you.
I will put all of Shelby's information, her team's information, their website. You guys can go check it out. But other than that, we will see you all next week. Take care.